Welcome to Staying Aligned. If you're a Christian leader looking to stay clear-headed in a world that never slows down, this is for you. I'm Chad Medlin. In each episode, we look at what's happening around us and bring it back to one simple question. How do you stay aligned with God's calling when everything is pulling at you? This isn't hype. This isn't opinion. This is clarity for leaders who want to walk steady and stay faithful. So let's get into it.
There is a pressure many Christian entrepreneurs live under that almost never gets named out loud. The pressure to stay busy, even when that busyness is not effective. The pressure to keep moving, keep producing, keep responding, keep filling the day so it looks like progress is happening. Calendars get packed. Notifications never stop. Tasks stack on top of each other. And somewhere underneath all that motion is a quiet tension that says, I am doing a lot, but I am not sure I am doing the right things. This pressure weighs on leaders in very specific ways. Decisions feel heavier than they should. Mental fatigue sets in early. Focus becomes shallow. You jump from task to task without finishing well. Family gets distracted attention. God gets squeezed into the margins. And rest starts to feel irresponsible instead of restorative. The pressure does not come from laziness. It comes from responsibility. It comes from caring. It comes from wanting to provide, protect, lead well, and not drop the ball. Many Christian entrepreneurs believe that staying busy is part of being faithful. If I am always working, always reachable, always producing, then I must be honoring God. But that belief slowly turns into a trap. Because busyness creates noise. Noise clouds discernment. And when discernment gets cloudy, leaders drift. Not dramatically. Quietly. Gradually. One yes at a time. Financial pressure fuels it. When income feels uncertain, you compensate with activity. You take every call. You chase every opportunity. You keep multiple projects alive just in case one works. The fear of getting it wrong keeps you doing everything, which ironically makes it harder to do anything well. Leadership pressure adds to it. People expect answers. Teams want direction. Clients want access. Churches want results. And instead of being intentional, you become responsive. You let urgency decide your schedule instead of calling. You stay busy to avoid disappointing people. Family tension sits underneath it too. When work bleeds into home, guilt creeps in. So you try to do more to justify it. If I work harder now, maybe it will pay off later. But later never comes. Because busyness expands to fill every available space. Over time, this pressure trains leaders to equate exhaustion with obedience. If I am tired, I must be doing something right. If I slow down, I must be failing. That mindset feels noble, but it is not biblical. It is cultural. This is where perspective has to shift. Culture celebrates hustle. Algorithms reward noise. Business trends glorify speed and volume. The loudest voices get attention, not the most faithful ones. And when Christian entrepreneurs absorb that lens, they start measuring success by output instead of obedience. Scripture offers a different lens. God consistently values fruit over frenzy, faithfulness over force, assignment over availability. Throughout the Bible, we see God pulling leaders away from crowds, not pushing them into constant motion. Jesus himself operated this way. He was never in a hurry. He did not heal everyone who asked. He did not stay where crowds wanted him. He withdrew often. He rested. He prayed. He moved with clarity, not compulsion. From the outside, Jesus might have looked unproductive by modern standards. No packed calendar, no constant updates, no endless meetings. Yet his impact changed everything. Why? Because he was aligned, not busy. The wrong lens tells you that more activity equals more faith. The biblical lens shows that obedience sometimes looks like stillness. It looks like saying no. It looks like walking away from good opportunities to protect the right assignment. When leaders see clearly, they realize busyness is often a form of control. Staying busy keeps you from having to trust. It keeps you from asking uncomfortable questions. It keeps you from sitting still long enough to hear God redirect you. Busyness feels safer than clarity. Clarity demands courage. It forces you to choose. It forces you to disappoint people. It forces you to admit that some things you are doing are not actually required. Scripture never praises overload. It never glorifies exhaustion. It repeatedly shows God reducing, refining, and focusing his people. Gideon's army was reduced. Moses needed delegated structure. Martha was corrected for distraction. The pattern is consistent. God removes excess so obedience becomes clear. When you view busyness through that lens, you see it for what it is. Not faithfulness, not diligence, but misalignment disguised as productivity. That perspective shift leads directly to posture. Under the pressure to stay busy, most Christian entrepreneurs show up reactive. They wake up already behind. They start the day responding instead of deciding. Email sets the tone. Notifications dictate priorities. Other people's urgency determines their focus. Their posture is tense, guarded, fragmented. They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time, always accessible, rarely present. They lead, but they do not feel grounded. They work, but they are not anchored. A reactive posture produces shallow leadership. Decisions are made quickly, but not wisely. Energy gets spread thin. Vision fades. And over time, leaders lose confidence because they are constantly responding instead of leading. Alignment creates a different posture. An aligned leader shows up grounded, calm, clear. They are not rushed by urgency. They are guided by assignment. They know what they are called to do, and that clarity becomes a filter for everything else. A grounded posture is not passive. It is deliberate. It moves with intention. It pauses without guilt. It says no without apology. It understands that not every opportunity is an assignment. Aligned leaders are willing to be misunderstood. They are willing to look less busy. They are willing to step back when God says pause, even if others expect movement. Their confidence comes from obedience, not approval. This posture changes how they lead their businesses. Meetings become purposeful. Communication becomes clearer. Workdays become lighter, even when the workload is significant. Because energy is no longer wasted on misaligned tasks. This posture changes how they show up at home. Presence increases. Distraction decreases. Work no longer dominates every conversation. Because boundaries are no longer seen as selfish, but as stewardship. Jesus modeled this posture constantly. He did not let crowds control his movement. He did not allow urgency to override obedience. He responded to the Father, not the pressure around him. That is alignment in action. Which brings us to practice. Not a system, not a framework. One real decision you can make today. Here is the practice. Identify one activity that keeps you busy but does not produce meaningful fruit. One meeting, one recurring task, one obligation, one habit. Something that fills time, drains energy, and rarely advances your calling. Do not overthink it. The first thing that creates tension when you consider removing it is usually the right one. Now bring that activity into the light. Ask one simple question. Is this something God clearly assigned, or something I picked up to manage pressure? Then make one decision today. Either pause it for the next 24 hours, or redefine it with clear limits. If it does not serve your assignment, it does not deserve unlimited access to your time. Pausing is not quitting. Redefining is not failing. This is stewardship. This is obedience. This is alignment in real time. When you remove even one misaligned activity, something shifts. Mental noise quiets. Focus sharpens. Peace increases. Not because life got easier, but because your load got lighter. Alignment rarely begins by adding something new. It almost always begins by removing what God never asked you to carry. Busyness loses its grip when clarity takes its place. And clarity grows when you choose obedience over motion, faithfulness over frenzy, and alignment over activity.
For honor and glory!